So in previous season, we have seen three aspects of AWS S3. So we set up the account, we use S3 service, we create a bucket, then we got the access key and secret key. Now what next I'm going to do? So now I'm going to invoke API from Salesforce. So now what kind of thing I need to do in Salesforce? Let's check out that. So if you see here, whenever I'm saying I want to integrate from Salesforce to S3. So what do you do? Definitely the endpoint what I have to use it. Okay, and I'm going to invoke that API to connect with AWS S3. Means I'm going to write some piece of code to do it. Okay, I'm going to use it, keep like very simple one, not like a named credential or anything. Simply the what other approach I have discussed before. Similar approach I'll follow so that it will be easy for you to understand. As named credentials, already I have shown you one previous example. That's why I'm keeping it more in the programming side. Okay. So now I'm going to discuss few part of it. Okay. Let me tell you here to understand whenever you want to authenticate anything, okay, from one system to another system. Think this is your AWS. Okay. So AWS gave you key and secret. Now what you do, this key and secret I'm going to maintain somewhere in my Salesforce. Okay, so now I have to make a call to my AWS with using my key and secret so that they will authorize me, and what file I'm going to pass, that file they will take and put in my bucket. So what I need, so now to do this activity, first thing I need to which bucket I am going to interact. So what is my bucket, or you can say my host. Okay, then one is my key, one is my secret. Okay, and when I'm making this call, API call or a REST call, this must be with some REST methods. So here, if you see the documentation what I have shown you before some time, it's a put object, correct? So if you want to add any object to a bucket, we can use this put object, nothing but this PDF I'm going to add, okay? Like I'm going to add PDF file or any kind of content. So that time I'll go to my put method. So nothing but simply I can say some kind of HTTP method what I'm looking for. Okay, the method. So in the method concept, I'm going to say this is a put. Okay, so now what is my host? What is my key? What is my secret? What is my bucket name? Or on which method I'm going to connect? That are my key factors. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write one quick Apex class. Okay, so I'm using my developer console. You can use your Visual Studio Code or anywhere you want to do. So quickly to complete, I'm going to use in my developer console. Same piece of code you can write wherever you want. Okay, I'm going to create a new Apex class. Simply class name I'm going to give AWS utility. Okay, so a new Apex class I created. Now what I need to do? So now to authenticate my service, I'm saying I have three things. So what I need, I have to always remember what I need. I have to authenticate myself, and I have to define what are the content I'm going to pass. So let's focus on how am I going to authenticate. Okay, so to authenticate, I need some parameters. So simply I'm writing here my authentication parameter. So what are parameters I need? I need a parameter, for example, I will say AWS key. Okay, I need one more parameter, for example, I will say AWS secret. And I need one more parameter, which I will say on which bucket. See, in my AWS S3, I might have multiple bucket. So to which bucket I want to connect, I can specify the name here also. Public string, for example, I will say parameter name as bucket name. and on which method I'm going to connect. So this mechanism, what we are going to write here, it's a put method. So in AWS, if you see, there are many API points are there. Okay, see put, or you can say get, many things are there. Okay, so how you want to connect? What is the service method that I want to give parameter name as public string? Let's think name as method name. Okay, and to which endpoint you are going to connect, that is nothing but my host name. Simply I can say public string host name. Okay, these are my few parameters I set. Okay, now what I want, so these parameters I want dynamically can be passed from the method where I'm calling it. Okay, I'm writing my utility method here, utility class. So somebody can pass any AWS account keys, create bucket name, method name, I'll be able to connect. So I'm not going to hard code anything. So I'm using a constructor to initialize these values. Simply I can say, let me write the comment so that it will be easy for you to understand. Initialize auth parameters in constructor. So what do you do here? Simply I'm going to write my constructor. Constructor is always a, so it's same as class name. So I'm going to take my parameter names. For example, I'm going to say my key, one parameter, second parameter going to be my secret, then my bucket, and let's see string, what is the method I'm going to connect, and what is the host. Okay, so you can see the value what I'm passing, simply I'm doing initialization. AWS key equal to key, and my AWS secret going to be the secret what I'm calling from the parameter. Okay, and similar way I'm going to take my bucket name, which is nothing but my parameter what I have passed, and next my method name. Okay, it's going to be method. Okay, I'll tell you why am I writing like this. Okay, just give a minute to me to complete this constructor part. So now I'm in the host name. I'm going to copy it, like I'm going to assign it from the host. So if you see in the when I started this program in the first session of this project. So if you see, I was calling this method to show the output, correct? Here I'm just setting the parameters details and I call my constructor, then I execute it. So let's see, I want to connect to another bucket. Simply I can change the bucket name, or it's another account, for example. I'll change the account name here, or the key and secret I'll change. It will connect to that account. So here I kept. So these informations I can keep in my custom metadata, or I can keep in my label or in a custom setting, and we can get it from there. Okay, that's why I'm not going to hard code anything here. I'll initialize in my constructor. So I have these informations. Okay. Now what I need to do? I need to create a authentication information. Okay. So when I say I want to create authentication informations, what I need to do? Okay. So I'm going to write this authentication informations with a program. So now whenever I want to make a call, what I need to do? I have to pass my authentication details, and in the same time, I have to pass which file I want to invoke. So it means, let me just show you here. I need an authentication header. Okay. So to have an authentication header, AWS what says, let me show you in that document. So if you go to put object, if you see here, this is my host and the remaining information what I need. My completely request syntax you can see like this is defined here. Different parameters or properties what we have, and we are going to set it. Okay. So now let me write in the code so that I'll explain one by one what is happening. So you don't need to orient, read everything. But if you have time, you can go and read all the informations and you'll get more ideas what is this. Okay. Like how going, what is the content language, what is the content type we're going to set. Okay. So content type, nothing but the standard MIME type describing what format of content you are going to pass. Okay. All these informations. Okay. So now what I need to do next part. So I have to create a header, authentication header, which is nothing but as a string format. So my header going to be my AWS, the key, and I have to sign this authentication parameter using some crypto classes. Let me write this code and let's see if you have any confusion. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a method which will help me to create authentication header. Simply the name I'm giving as create auth header. Okay. So what is this going to happen? So to create a authentication header for my AWS S3 connectivity, so I need to specify what is the content, what type of content I'm going to pass to my S3 bucket. Okay. So that's I'm passing as a parameter here. String, for example, the name I'm giving as content type. Okay. And when I'm passing something to my S3, it's nothing but some kind of file, some file I'm passing. It might be a Excel sheet, might be one PDF, or maybe some PNG, JPG, anything. So now think I want to specify what is my file name. Okay. And I want to specify one more parameter like the date parameters as a string format. String, for example, the name I'm giving as formatted date string. And the file what I'm passing, I have specified file name. Also, I need my file extension. So can I say simply string file extension? Okay. So now here what I'll do. So now I'm going to create a auth header, correct? So simply I'm saying auth header name as string auth. Let me build it. So what will happen? So now I'm going to create a string which will be signed using my crypto class. Okay, which I'll pass as a complete header. Let's see what I'm doing. So simply I'm creating a method here, a variable, or you can say parameter like a string to sign. So in which method I'm going to call it. Okay, the method nothing but the put method technically, but that put method is nothing but my method name. Can I simply say this dot method name, okay, plus to new line, okay. Then what is my content type? Okay. Then I want to set what is my formatted date string. Okay. Then I'm going to say to which bucket I'm going to pass. Already I have my bucket informations. You can see all the parameters or all the variable what I have used for authentication, everything I'm going to use here. Okay. So this dot bucket name, okay, plus the file name. Okay. When I say, okay, so when I say the file name, what is going to happen? My bucket name, what bucket name I have, it's everything like as a resource URL, correct? So everything as a like goes as a backward slash. So similar way, I can say what is my bucket name. Bucket name goes with what? In the bucket, I'm going to store a file. So that file name I'm going to pass as a lower case always. Okay, you can see the file name we pass here. Simply I can say file name dot to lowercase. Let me take it to up. Okay. So now what it means? So now I have file name. For example, file name is course content dot PDF. It should be. Then I'm going to set my extension. Extension when I say this is going to come as a dot symbol. dot, then my extension. Can I simply say the file extension what we have, that's also as a 2 lowercase. So if you see here, when I'm creating a string to sign, so what we did, my method name, then the content type, then formatted get string, then on which bucket name slash my file name dot extension name. Okay, to which I want to sign the content what I have right now, this information what I'm going to pass. So I'm going to sign this information with my key and secret, correct? So now the secret what I have, secret what I have, that I will use to generate a blob. Okay, using my crypto class to sign this information with my secret key, or you can say with my secret. What I'll do, simply I'm going to create a blob here. Let's say I'm giving the name as Mac. Okay, so I'm going to create a crypto class. I'm going to use a crypto class, crypto dot. Okay, what I want to do, I want to generate a Mac. So what is your algorithm name? Okay, I'm going to use my algorithm. Okay, if you do not know about crypto class, let me show you here. Simply type your crypto Apex SOAP. Okay, so directly you'll go to crypto class from the Salesforce reference guide. You can see here there are many methods. I'm going to use generate Mac. Okay, so it computes a message authentication code for the input string using the private key and the specified algorithm. I'm going to use this. Okay, so what I'll do here, simply crypto generate Mac. So what is my algorithm? So if you see the algorithm name, if you say, there are different kind of algorithm name what we have. I'm going to use the algorithm name as HMAC SHA1. You can see here HMAC SHA1, this algorithm. Okay, then what is my input? Input nothing but what string I create to sign as a blob. I'll use as a blob. So simply I can say blob dot value of my string what I need to sign. With what I'll sign? With a secret, correct? So that's going also as a blob dot value of my secret. Can I simply say this dot secret? So now this is created one. This generate Mac, when you say, it's create a blob of my message authentication code. Okay, now what I need to do? So I signed my information what I'm going to pass, the bucket name, file name, and everything, and what is the content type with my secret. Now what next? Now I'm going to build my auth, which I'm going to pass. So auth going to be, always remember this is AWS plus give a space. Then what is my key? This dot AWS key plus give a colon and with my signing. Okay, what is the signing I have to create? Let me tell you that. So now this is my blob. Before to that, what I have to do, we have to do a encoding of the informations. Means what I need to do, create a signing with using encoding util class dot base 64 encode. I'm going to pass it, so I'm encoding it. Okay, the complete information what we have, it's encoded here. Okay, now this is my auth, and I'm going to return this auth, whoever call it. Let me save quickly, and then we'll go to the next part. Okay, so now what will happen? So I know what are my authentication in parameters we have. I will know which file I'm going to pass, what is the extension. Okay, I'll come to that formatted data string, what we have and how I'm going to get it. And the content type. When I say content type, think you have one PDF file. The content type going to be different. You have one Excel sheet. Content type going to be different. You have one image or JPG, content type different. So you should write a code which can handle any type of file, not specific PDF file. So what I do for this, I'm going to create a method to identify what is my content type. Okay, what I do here, simply I'm creating one more method as a public string content type. Okay, so I'll pass my file type, every file type. Let's see, it's a doc file, it's a PDF file. That's nothing but a file type. Depending on every file type, my content type going to change. So you can use if else or switch statement. Here I'm using the switch statement. Okay, switch on the file type what I'm passing. For example, you say PDF file. So PDF file have one content type, or you say it's a CSV file one content type. Depending on that, we can define what is my content type. Switch on file type dot to lowercase. Okay, now we can check. What I will check? When the file type dot to lowercase is a type of CSV, what is going to be my content type, correct? So can I say my content type for CSV going to be something else? Like, okay, you might not know. If you know, that's very good. Okay, if you do not know the content type, let me show. Content type, REST API, CSV file. Okay. So you can see like what are the for different type of extensions, we have different kind of content type. Okay. Let's see, go to CSV, it might be text CSV or application class this one, doc is going to be this one, different kind of thing you can see. I'm going to handle this part. So what I do here, if it's a content type of CSV, what I do, I'm going to handle as application slash bnd dot ms hyphen excel. Okay, this is going to be my content type. So similar way, think it is not a CSV. If you get sometime file as a docx or docs file, what will happen? Your content type will be changed. Can I simply write return, okay, application? And I'm just going to copy it. I have already wrote this code before, if you can see, to show you the demo before starting the session. So I'm just getting that here. Application slash bnd dot open XML format, office document, word processing ML document. This is the content type. Okay. So depending on what you do, you can see here this complete content type what we have. Okay. So now I'm going to again to my code. So now simply I'm going to say, okay, if it's like a, for example, WAV type of content, what I do, if you see here WAV type, see, it's a audio wave. This is my content type. Simply I can copy from here also. Simply you can say return audio wave. So now what are the file you are expecting? So you can handle it. For example, I expect sometime my file can be a PNG file. Okay, you can go here, write the PNG, and you can see the content type for the PNG. See, image slash PNG. Okay, so you can write here content type going to be return image slash PNG, or think it's a file of PDF. Simply I can say when it's a PDF file, what I can do, I'm going to return as PDF going to be application class PDF. These are my different content type. Okay, so depending on each content type, we are going to write. Okay, if any of the other things, if you have not match here, simply I'll say I'm going to send as a everything else as a JPG type, for example. Okay. When you say the JPG type, you can go here, you can see what is the type of JPG. All goes as image JPG. If you want everything, you can just write. If it's a AAC file, audio AAC, AVI file, video slash XMS video, you can copy paste. How am I going to do here? So how you want, you can just write in the similar way. Okay. So this is nothing but my content type. I wrote very few, but depending on the requirement, you can write all the types. Okay. If you write everything, like takes a lot of time, but you can, what you can do, you can write when And what is the content type? ARC or AVI, then copy this MIME type, put as a return. That you can do simply. Okay. I'm missing at this, something I'm missing in the code line 24. Okay. There is semicolon missing, and you can check wherever the code is missing semicolon or anything. So now my content type is ready. My authentication header is ready. So what I need to do next? I should upload a document. Okay. This code is going to be very interesting and very easy. Believe me, it's going to be very easy. So now I'm going to write my actual method, which will be invoked to pass my document. Simply I can say public void upload documents. Okay. To here, I'm going to pass a single record ID now. String record ID. Okay. So in the Salesforce, when I'm uploading any document, for example, if I go to my case or account contact, wherever I go, when I'm going to upload a document, it's nothing but I'm uploading a file. So here, if you see, if I go to my attachment, if I upload a file, this file, what you upload, that is going to be my content document, correct? So that content document ID, if I get, I'm going to retrieve that content document, or you can say file, and then I'm going to pass it to the AWS. So that piece of code I'm going to write. It's quite easy. So now you have the record ID. From record ID, what you can do? I'm going to query my content document. So simply I'm going to write my content document link. Think the name as giving as a link list, or you can give the name as content link list equal to the SQL statement I'm going to write now. Select content document ID. Content document ID. Then what is the linked entity? ID. From which object? From the object called content document. Okay. And my condition is where my record ID matching. Correct? So simply can I say where linked entity ID equal to 1 minute. Let me copy it and put here. So I got the record ID. For that record ID, I'm getting my content document link. Select content document ID, linked entity ID from content document link, where linked entity ID equal to record ID. Okay. Now what I'll do here? Simply, I'm going to take it's a list. It might have multiple documents. So all the ID I'm taking, simply I can say content doc ID set equal to new set of ID. And here I'm iterating on each of these content document link with the list what I have and adding each document ID on this set. So simply I can say link dot my content document ID is a document which I are looking for. Okay. So now every document what we have always is having a version. So to get the exact file, I need to get the document version. Okay, nothing but I can say in API name content version. So I'm going to have one more SQL here to specify my content version. Okay, so simply giving the name as, for example, C version equal to, I'm going to write a SQL again on my content version object where content document ID is matching. What it mean? Let me show you that. What is my version data? So simply I can say version data, then my title, nothing but my file title. Then I can say content document ID field also. Then I can say what is my file extension. Okay, from where I want from content version. What is my matching criteria? My where condition goes to my matching content document ID, where content document ID equal to condoc ID set. Okay, and I want only the latest document. Simply I can say that parameter is latest equal to. You might think, where am I writing this field parameters, everything? As always I said, if you want to get to know about any object, simply go to searcher, content version, Apex, SOAP. See how easy. You get everything, all the field what I'm using. See, I used some field called is latest, correct? If you see here, is latest, it's indicate whether this is the latest version of the document. I want to get latest version of document to pass it. Simply I can use this. Okay, all the field what I'm using, everything is defined here. Okay, so now I have different content versions. Now each content version what I have, I'm going to pass that to my AWS service. So now I'm going to loop it for content version what I have. Let's tell as each attachment as my C versions. Okay, so now I need the attachment or file what we have, the body of it, its name, its extension. So now first I'm going to get my attachment body. What is my attachment body? You can see I have my version data. Simply can I say attach dot version data. Okay, and this version data is a blob type, correct? So what we can do, we will encode it. So anytime you want to encode, what to use? Encoding utility dot base 64 encode. This is my content, my document content or my CSV content. That data we have here. Okay, and I was looking for some kind of formatted data string, if you remember. That also I need to build. This formatted data string will take looking on the current timestamp what we have. That's we need for my signing when this authentication information got signed. Okay, simply I can say formatted data string going to be date time dot now. Okay, dot format GMT. So now if you see in the date time class, let me show you that also. If you go to date time Apex, so there is a method called as format. See, format, convert the date to the time zone, which time zone you want. So I want to specify a specific time zone. Simply I'm going to format to GMT. If you go to here, the method what we had, format GMT, returns a date time as a string using the supplied simple date format and the GMT time zone. Okay, I'm going to do that as a GMT time zone. Simply I say date time dot now formatted GMT. What is my formatting I want? Okay, what format? DD space MMM space YYY, and I want DDMM YYY and hour, minute, second. Okay, this is the format GMT done. Now what is my file name? I can simply say file name going to be my title. The title. Okay, then what is my content type? I know my file extension. Here, looking on the file extension, can I tell what is my content type? If I make call to this method, which we wrote before some time, content type, simply call this method. I can say string content type equal to, I'm going to call this method content type with passing the current parameter as file extension attach dot file extension. I hope till now there is no confusion. Okay. So I know my title, I know my attachment body, I know what is my content type. Now I have to build the URL, my host, where I'm going to call. What is my endpoint? Simply say my endpoint if you talk about integration perspective. So I can give a name as string file URL. Okay. So it's going to be HTTPS. Then I'm going to say my bucket name. Bucket name in the sense nothing, but you can see I'm passing like this. Okay, my bucket name. And what is my bucket name? This is the variable bucket name what I have. This dot bucket name plus give a dot symbol. Then my host name. My host name you can see going to be s3.amazonaws.com. If you see this documentation also says the same thing. Okay, my host going to be bucket, then dot s3amazonaws.com. That's why I'm building this one. My bucket name dot my host is s3.amazonaws.com. Okay, so now if you see bucket name plus, then I'm going to write my host name, which I'm passing in the parameter itself. So what is my parameter? This dot host name. This dot my host name. You can see here. I use this bucket name and host name here. Okay. Then what I have? I have a file. The file name I have to pass. Then again backslash plus my file name plus file name. What is the file name I have? My file name nothing but here the attachment title. I'll pass everything as a lowercase. I said file name dot two lowercase. Then what I need? File name with ending with some extensions. Can I say that simply also? My extension whatever I have. Okay, that extension dot lowercase plus my attachment dot file extension dot two lowercase. Correct? So this is going to be a complete file URL where my file is exist. Okay. So now what next? Now I have to build my request to pass it. So whenever I want to send over the HTTP, what I need to do? Always I said I have to create my HTTP request. Give the name, for example, REQ. New HTTP request. Always in all the integration, I created this HTTP request method object instantiation. Now on this request, what I have to say? It's a put method or get method or what method that I have to set. Simply can I say set method as what? This dot what is method I set here? I am passing from method here, which goes here method name. Can I simply say this dot method name? Correct. Now to where I'm calling this put method or get method, I'm calling to some endpoint. Can I say request dot set endpoint? What is my endpoint? My file URL what I build now. That is my endpoint. I have my host, my bucket name dot host name, and my file I'm going to call there. Okay. So now this is file URL. Now I have to set the header. If you see now the header part, see many more things we are setting here. The expiry, many more things, correct? Let me just type content. See these informations, content length, content type, these parameters we need to set. Okay. So now in the request, what I need to set header. Multiple header can be set. Already I told you. So header is going to as a key and file, key and value. So my first part, if you see here, I'm going to set my host, this host also as a header. Okay, host. What is the host I want to set? Same thing. It's nothing but my bucket name dot host name, not the file name exactly. This is complete file URL, but my host going to be only my bucket name plus dot my host name. This part only. Okay. Next what? Next header I'm going to set as request dot set header. So what is the key and value here? My key going to be my content length. For example, this is my content length. Okay, what is my content length I want to set? So I want to set what is my attachment body, the body of the content, complete length. So simply can I say attachment body dot length. Okay. The next header, what I want to set, request dot set header. What is the header I want to send? I want to send my content encoding. In what encoding you want to send this data? I want to send this data or file in my UTF-8 encoding. What else you want to set? As I said, I can pass multiple headers. What we need? So now I have to say what type of content I am going to pass. It's a PDF or it's a JPG file or it's a doc file or it's a CSV, what? My content type. You can see already I evaluate what is my content type depending on my extension. That I can set here simply content type. Okay. Now what I need? Request dot. I want to set connections. Set header. You can see, for example, I am going to take, okay, my connection should be alive, for example. So what I do here, I'm going to set my key as connection. And what is connection? I'll say keep alive the connection. Okay. And one more content I'm going to set, request dot set header. Okay. And the date I'll pass. All I cannot see here. Okay. Everything what I'm passing, you can see the description of it also. What is this? You can read it. So, but I want to pass the date. My date, nothing but I have already formatted this as a formatted date string. I'm going to pass that, and then I'll pass one more header for the access level. Okay, request dot set header. Key, I'm going to pass my SCL. If you see here the SCL part, this can SCL to apply the on the object. Okay, what type of values we can pass? Public read write. That will do. Okay, SCL I'm going to pass as, for example, going to pass as public read. I'm copying from here and putting it here. Okay, this is another content header what we pass. And now I will set, okay, I set my endpoint, I set my method, I set my headers. Now I have to pass some attachment body. Okay, you can see in the ST request, I didn't set my attachment body as of now. What is my content? Only I set the length. So now I'm going to set that. Can I simply say request dot set body as blob? Okay, what is the body I want to pass? I want to pass my complete attachment body as a blob. So can I create a blob here as, for example, name I'm giving as a PDF blob. Okay, equal to encoding util dot base 64 encode. What is the encoding I'm going to do? I'm going to do for my attachment body. Okay, sorry, not encode. This is I'm going to convert to blob, so it's going to be my decode, base 64 decode. Okay, attachment body. So I have this PDF blob. Can I pass directly here as a body? Oh, lot of code we wrote then. My field, my file URL, my request, the method is get or put what you want, file URL as endpoint, the header we set as content type, connection, date, ACL as a public read, what is the length of content, and what is my host. Then we got what exactly information I want to set, and that we set as a body as a blob. Okay. Now, the most important header I'm going to pass my authentication, or you can say authorization details. So that what I do here, simply I can say request dot set header. This is the most important one. What is my key? My key now go talk about authorization. Okay, what is the value? If you remember, we have defined one method, create auth header. I'm going to call that. If I call that, I'm going to get a auth details, which I need to pass here. You remember, that's why I wrote that method before some time. So what is text? My content type, file name, date string, and file extension. So what is my content type? I have here content type. Pass it. Okay. Then what is my file name? I have my file name. Pass it. What is my formatted date string? Here I formatted date string here. I pass it. And what is my extension? I have my extension already. Okay. I didn't keep in some method, some variable. Let's keep it directly here. So I pass my authorization here. My authorization header also ready. My request ready, my attachment, my request body ready, all header ready. Then what next we have to do? We have to call it. Means I have to make a HTTP call. To make a HTTP call, what do you do? HTTP h equal to new HTTP. Then I have to call my send method. Send what? Send a request. This is my request. Once send request, what will happen? This will give you a response. So now you can see I'm going to say my response. Let's think res. Okay. Now one response done, what we can do? We can just now debug it. Okay, I'm just putting a debug line to see what is my response happen. Let's see response dot get status code. Okay, let me save it. So many code we have written here now. Okay, so in the next we'll execute this code. Let me save it. Then we'll execute and we'll see what is the output of this method. Okay. Okay, line number 67 says there is no signature for the set header string integer. Okay, here you can say we have passed the attachment dot length. This is a integer, but always this set header will take both parameter as string. Simply I can say string dot value of. Okay, let me save it again. I'm just checking here. There should be no error. Okay, what we missed? Line 67. String dot value of attachment body length. One more. Save it. Okay. Okay. So now my code is done. Code is saved. Now next what we'll do? We'll run this and we'll see what is happening. Okay. So in the next session, we'll execute this code and we'll see what exactly going to happen.